All right, game on, game on. Welcome back to Multidimensional March. Today I'm talking about focus, okay? Now, this is the focus blueprint, and I really want to mention a couple of things for you guys, okay? It's going to be very, very powerful today. So get some snacks, get some nachos, okay? Get some something to drink, like some water, okay? Water is brain fuel, by the way, okay? Water is the ichor. Ichor is like the blood of the gods, right? It's like what the gods used to drink, basically, is water. Okay, pretend. Let's just pretend for now that water is the drink of the gods and goddesses, because we are gods in training, and that is why we are here. I want this video to be primarily focused on people who struggle with mild ADHD, or if you're diagnosed ADHD, you struggle a lot, man, and the struggle comes from this sense of like contradiction. You get what I mean? There's a certain kind of contradiction in your life where, it's great and awful at the same time. So you have these incredible ideas and you want to change the world, but then you have no energy or motivation to actually change the world. Okay. So these little splits, I call them splits, okay, create more of a distortion and a disruption in the nervous system. Okay, so like you think someone is amazing, but then they say something that you dislike for no apparent reason, and it makes you dislike them immediately, right? You're like, oh, I love everything about this person, but this one thing, right? So, or you're able to talk hours about things that you actually care about. This is like me with flow state, right? But then you hate when people talk about things that you don't care about. Okay, it's like if it's outside your topic of concern, you're just like, yeah, whatever. Now, at some level, you also want to listen to the man Bruce Lee, okay? Not Bruce Leroy, okay? Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has taught us to absorb what is useful, to discard what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own. Now, a lot of people just see this as a thing, but this is like my lifestyle, man. Like I've made that my thing, where I'm able to amplify aspects of my own uniqueness, but then eliminate all the options that I don't want, right? There's things you want, but you got to know. If you don't know what you want, if you don't know your purpose, you got to know what you don't want. And especially curtail, limit, eliminate those things. Okay. So, yeah, another example of a split, like, you believe you're super talented, but you don't put yourself through the fire because your expectations of yourself are too high. It's like a perfectionism or something, right? Or you're super charismatic and can relate to anybody about anything. You're like a shapeshifter in social scenarios, but you also experience a lot of social anxiety. Okay. Now, we will go into a lot of these different things, but I think social situations can make us wander off in the middle of the conversation, interrupt others, or speak a little bit too fast and a little bit too slow. So if you notice, sometimes I'm speaking very fast. That's because my brain is working very, very rapidly. You get what I mean? So that energy or momentum that's getting built in my mind, I know how to calm it down. I know how to talk in a way that is more going to get registered by people. But then I also know that when I'm rushing past or being too edgy or trying to be cool or just completely unfocused on my craft, you got to get really good at your craft and what you're skilled at, like really double down on what you're really strong in, and know that you have these talents that you call it neurodiversity, right? ADHD, ADD, certain aspects of, even like autism, or on the spectrum, like Asperger's, like this, these are called neurodiverse, okay, disorders. So in a sense, your brain is actually tapping into different parts, okay, that make it function or play or, like work in a very specific way, right? So that people pleaser side of me sometimes comes up, and I tell myself, bro, I'm like, if everyone likes you, then nobody likes you, bro. Did you get that? Some of you got that. Some of you are like, what? That's a contradiction, right? But the ADHD mind understands this, okay? If everyone likes you, then no one likes you. Why? Because there's no strength in that connectivity. Yeah, they like you as a being, as a general person, but isn't that the bare minimum to be a good person? Like, is that what we're all striving for? Like, whoa, you know? It's like the standard is way off sometimes. And bro, social media isn't high school. If I lose like 1,000 followers overnight because I talked about chakras or something, like I'm not worried about that, bro, because the real OGs, the people who are really interested in what I have to say and really respect my time, energy, and me as a functioning member of society, right? In some sense, I'm like a mystic, kind of on the fringes of society, but also connected to society at the same time, right? It's really important that you understand that this is not a popularity contest on social media, bro. It is your time capsule that you're using right now in order for you to get your message heard. Okay. So you want to understand that you got to become unopinionated by topics that are not in your lane, that are not in your craft. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean don't open your mind and listen to other people's opinions on certain topics, because that's how you grow. It's like you get challenged, there's adversity, there's difficulty, but then you reach a conclusion, a consensus, a compromise, a something, right? You learn how to tolerate it, or you learn how to fix it. You learn how to optimize it. You learn how to go around it, right? And dodge it. You're going to find your own strategy for this thing. And it's going to come down to you deciding your destiny, okay? You deciding that this is the character that I would truly prefer. And I'm going to be that. I am him, okay? I am her. So understand that, first of all, I'm really starting to notice my aggression when it comes down to a lot of people's ignorance when it comes down to the Sigma male archetype, okay? Sigma male is not just this, bro. It's not like you making weird puns about women and like women coffee, right? Like that's not what a Sigma even is, bro. And it's become a part of this culture in such a way that it's actually taking away from its core what it actually represents, right? Same with any other label too. I'm not saying that it's specific for this, but you look at all the alpha content out there, bro, and a lot of it is whack, right? A lot of it could be inspiring for a minimal time. You're like feeling beast in the moment and you stack it, but a lot of it is very, very transitional. Okay, temporary highs, temporary buzzes, temporary neuroactivation from people, right? So we've got to understand how to calm and relax our nervous systems, not just spike it up with all this fear, right? If you're watching a lot of news, if you're watching a lot of serial killer documentaries, horror shows, all this graphic and grimy imagery all the time, it's sitting at the back of your mind. And your communication is going to appear very violent. It's going to appear that way, right? And people don't want to be around you sometimes if you really get into that dark, negative cave. But that's the time that we need the most compassion and love. Okay? This is really important to remember. When you're frazzled, when you're distracted, when you're unfocused, when you're not enjoying your time, that's the time you need to double down on the tenderness and the feminine energy that you give yourself. Okay? That softness, that you need to give yourself that, right? At the times where you feel like I'm so frustrated, I'm overstimulated, too many apps on my phone, I've just been scrolling reels all day, right? Overstimulated by social media. And you start to notice that you will feel like, okay, you will feel like you are a non-functional, unproductive person because of these social media addiction, phone addiction, all this kind of stuff, right? You will feel like you're not good enough, that you're not results oriented or whatever, and that you're not achieving the next goal, or hustling along on this journey, right? And all of these narratives that we have in culture. So we've got to really understand what to do with this energy too, okay? So sometimes, I find a lot of my clients multitasking, okay, multitasking. And I would say multitasking is like pseudo productivity. You think you're doing a lot at once, but it's just, poor management, like poor state of mind, like a half dabbler type of approach to getting focused, right? That's not going to bring you focus. Something like like a yantra like this is way better than, you know, you practicing the times tables and trying to, say it backwards or something. Like, bro, what are you doing? You need to find the sauce and like you need to find, I'm trying to find like the millennial terms for this, right? Like you need to flex your intuition as well as understand that when you're being productive, when you're really being productive, your energy is not scattered like a light bulb, but the same energy in a light bulb is in a laser beam, right? And you're just like laser beam focused, right? That narrow edge of focus. But this is how it really goes, okay? So it's like this, and then you go a little bit out, a little bit blurry, but then you gain focus back. So that's how I want your focus to be, is like this. Boom, 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 boom. A few techniques, man, can change your whole world around. I learned this as I'm doing more MMA and stuff like that, right? Just like a basic punch, when you understand, like, this is not a good punch, right? Because you've got to understand, if your elbows aren't touching, you're not close enough to the actual form, right? So if your elbows kiss, right, then you know that you have a better punch in that sense. And also like going over the shoulder, thrusting the entire hip into it, right? There's all of these different movements, and that is concentration, right? Focus is taking all that attention or concentration and putting it into one direction. So it's the directive strength that you give it, right? Like that. That's focus. So focus is your ability to walk around with like a flashlight in the dark, right? That is focus. Whereas concentration is more like, okay, you're driving a car. Okay, there's the dashboard. There's like other cars on the road. There's a bird flying in the air. You're like crossing the highway. There's a lot of different things happening at once, right? And you need concentration for that. You don't need focus for that. You get what I mean? So I just wanted to clarify that in a sense. So focus would just be you looking straight ahead, okay? And the kind of the rest you can fizzle out. That's why I say the soft focus or the soft gaze, right? In order to, like, we ignore things that are very overstimulating, right? Like, after a while, you scrolling and scrolling will become your norm. And you won't even notice that you're doing it. And that's why it becomes an autopilot activity. You get what I mean? So notice when you do that, what is the cue or the trigger that you start scrolling the phone? Is it because of a thought of boredom? Is it because you feel like avoiding something else, like just avoiding doing something that is really important for you to do, and you keep procrastinating? By the way, for procrastination, man, you got to get enough sunlight. Get out of the house, bro. Even if it's just going around to the park, man, or just like going on the ground floor and just walking around, getting some sunshine, okay? Going to the roof, going to the park, okay? These little things are really, really key and really, really important for focus, okay? There's a reason why I'm telling you this, and this is what I teach people. Okay, I teach people from low socioeconomic classes, like people who can't afford it. I give free service and social work, as well as I work with top elite people in their industries. Okay, so I do both. And I've seen different walks of life of different types of people. And I've seen the patterns, right? The patterns are really important. That you start to notice there's similar patterns in a lot of people and what they're doing. Okay, you start to kind of see what are the things that people are doing that are very, very ineffective after some time. And self-sabotage is a big one. Okay, that's a really, really big one for a lot of people, is the self coming in, and if you have no leverage, if you have no accountability, if you can get away with doing things and or not doing things, right? There's no punishment reward system at all for yourself. Okay, your friends don't care if you win in life or not, but if you hang around badass people, right, people who want to have ambition and grow and be in life, they're not going to accept that low standard of living. You get what I mean? Like, they're going to actually raise your standard and pull you up. You get what I mean? So you actually got to hang around people that build you up, that make your character on this video game more focused and more laser-like with your focus, okay? If a little cat can, this is from, I believe I heard this a really long time ago from, what's that guy's name, man? Brian, the dude from IMC, right? So he said, if a little cat can focus on a ball of yarn, right? You can't focus on reading this book? Bro, are you like a pussy? Are you a little kitty cat? You get what I mean? Like that triggering comment actually got me to focus and read a book in that moment, right? And a lot of us aren't actually being, you see, that goes to show you that people sometimes need to be shaken up and triggered in order to actually get stuff done. We need that little bit of tough love, right? In order to actually get this momentum out there. Otherwise, everything's fine. Okay, everybody wins, and yeah, everything's all right. Everything's good. Let's not step on any toes. Let's just be politically correct and sit in the corner and make sure that everybody's fine. That is a paradigm that is very, very ineffective. You have to teach people how to be safe, not in just a safe space, but safe within their own bodies, man. You get what I mean? Like you can't be walking around afraid of everything all the time. You're going to have to take little mini steps, okay? The spark steps, the little gnosis steps, okay? Where you're like, and you're stacking the momentum. If you don't feel like reading your essay and paraphrasing it, why don't you do something you do enjoy, okay? Start doing some yoga. Amidst the yoga, you're going to have more energy, more momentum, more flow. After that savasana, going into that practice of you rereading your essay, maybe you'll feel a little bit tired, right? You're just resting and stuff. It'll be a lot more easier to paraphrase that essay, okay? Because you did a strange Zumba class like this, right? And then now suddenly you have the momentum, okay? So our brain is weird, man. Our minds are very strange, okay? The mind loves searching for things, okay? Searching for things to do. And when it doesn't have anything to do, it goes into a panic mode. This is why we need to become mindful. We need to become present to the moment, right? So close all your tabs right now. I know you're watching with like a billion tabs open, some of you. So do that, okay? Just tune in, listen to this because it's going to help you, okay? So for ADHD, man, okay? Make tasks easier than they actually seem. Okay, like let's say you're going to wash the dishes. You don't just lose your track of time and go into a flow state trance where you're hours upon hours, and then you notice your fingers are like, all like dried up, looking like an old man, old woman fingers, right? Wrinkly from being in the water and washing those dishes from so long, right? So instead, what do? You just say, I'm just going to do 5 minutes. And you can even set a timer for 5 minutes, actually. If you want to practice decision making, I love just putting on a timer and just, testing myself in that moment, right? Am I really capable to do this? Let me test myself in this moment. I usually take an hour to like order dinner. Let me order it in 5 minutes. Boom. That is improvement. You get that? Like in that moment when you made that decision to get up at like 6 a.m. and every day you've been waking up at like 12 or something, that is real commitment, right? But that thing is also going to shock you completely, okay? So you might as well, like if you wake up at 12 every day, like in the afternoon, what you can do is wake up maybe an hour earlier, sorry, or half an hour earlier, right? So like 11:30 or 11. And that's more manageable and reachable. And when you can reach it, when you can stack that and you get that good feeling of accomplishment, like, yeah, I've got this, is going to make you want to do it more. But if you see some negative thing, like maybe you missed by 1 minute or something like that, you're going to beat yourself up in your mind with this process. So what I'd say is make tasks seem much easier than they appear or seem. Okay, that is datum number 1. The lack of support that we received as, ADHD undiagnosed children, okay? I know I probably was. Like I've taken the quiz many times and I have a lot of these characteristics. So I'm speaking from that angle, right? I never took any medication for it or anything like that. You know, Of course, there's brainwave entrainment and great things like this. Highly recommend gamma waves. Okay, listening to binaural beats for focus, very, very key. Okay. Also, some people aren't like eating enough protein, and they have like lack appetite when you're very depressed or very anxious, or in this state of like this frantic, stressed out state. You're not going to eat well. So my recommendation to you is have like cereal, like trail mix, stuff like this. Have just like chicken or eggs, right? Like some Greek yogurt, peanut butter sandwich, uh, boiled eggs, protein bars. Like have things around that you can easily access and eat, even if you don't have that appetite, right? That's creating, because you need that food in order to actually focus, right? When you eat the food, you get the energy, and with the energy, you have to direct it towards something. You get it? So eating the protein and having it digest and synthesize, right, will actually get you back in that groove, in that pocket, man, in that just like completely innocuous state where, man, I can't even control my sense of time, man. I don't even care about time anymore, bro. I'm just in it, man. I'm just floating around in cloud nine, brother. Okay, that state. So it's funny. So, when you're living with ADHD, so many people have had to condition themselves to act and feel and be and fit in to be socially accepted. I cannot talk so fast in this environment, therefore I must curtail and edit my speech so I sound a lot more eloquent. And as you keep pretending, bro, okay, as you keep pretending to put on this false mask, or what I call this ADHD masking, you're actually telling people that, no, I'm fine. I'm an ordinary citizen. I'm going along fine. Everything's good. But you're also draining yourself. It's called persona fatigue, bro. You're not being the character that you truly are. You're being some hyper extension or some exaggerated version of you trying to be cool. And that's what we do when we're young, bro. That's honestly what we do. We try to figure it out. Like, am I really that? You test yourself, you figure it out, you go through the process. Maybe life hasn't been kind to you, bro. Maybe you were picked last when they were playing sports or something like this. You know what I mean? And these little memories, these little mini traumas, we like to call it micro traumas, and then macro traumas, right? As Gabor Mate says. So in this sense, the decision to mask our true selves comes with a lot of emotional baggage, okay? And it can give us a lot of anxiety. And also, it can invite other people into our communities and into our sacred spaces that we didn't invite at all. Our false persona did. Our masked ADHD version did. Get this? Give me a thumbs up if you get this, bro. So it's very, very difficult when you have ADHD. And don't just take it from me, right? You can talk to other counselors, therapists, coaches, academicians, even talk to like a nun from a bakery somewhere. I don't know. Like see what they have to say about this too, right? Like, don't just take one perspective and just be like, yes, that is correct. Okay. And just be like, like thumbs up guy, yes, man, all the time. No. Okay. No is one of the most powerful things that you can say for self-care. Now, right? It's like the Bugs Bunny going, no, right? That's the better Sigma version, right? Bugs Bunny going like this sideways, not like this, right? So remember, you got to savor the moment, man. It's not going to be easy to savor the moment for you because your thoughts are like thinking 1,000 different things at once. So when you're planning a trip, you kind of get lost in everything and all the details of the trip. You're kind of just like in there, like you're kind of flung into it. Like, where are we going now? Oh, I guess. Okay. Right. You're kind of in that state. I get that, man. Like the spontaneity of the moment. You're good there. You relax there. But for planning, for goals, for objectivity, for truth, for logic, it's a bit difficult for you. And I get that. Okay. I really get that. I resonate with that like a motherfucker, right? Like I get that so much. And you've got to understand how to fine tune this because it's a skill set that you're learning. Get that, bro? Or chica? This is a skill set that you are learning. So what does that focused version of you look like? The one that has that focus, the one that has that great attribute of focus. For me, you know, I tap into my energy of Haru or Horus. He is my focus deity. Okay, and I'll make more content on the deities and the flow state deities and all of that stuff too. But Haru's energy, man, if you're ever lost in your focus, if you just have the Horus Eye, okay, as the symbol somewhere in your environment, or you call upon Haru. He has an invocation that's very specific. I won't share that with you unless you're part of the Primal Sutra path working. Okay, then I can share these little secrets and stuff with you. But I'm not going to leave, comments on YouTube, sharing all these occult secrets on YouTube. I'm not going to do that. That's very, very unique, sacred. It's for my, past clients. It's for my newer clients. It's for my prospective clients. Okay, to actually get an understanding of this thing. Because then I know if you put some money down to this, you really believe in this. And thank you. I really, really, at the bottom of my heart, if you've invested any money in Primal Sutra, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that means so much to me. It means someone is actually believing in my mission. You get that? You get how powerful that is as a ripple effect across the planet? The flow state guy is getting group flow. Sheesh. Okay? So, hey, and I'm not exactly where I want to be either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm the perfect flow state, okay, optimizer. Like, every single aspect of my life is completely articulate and perfect. I have zero flaws. Look at me, okay? No, bro. Okay. Yeah, there are days where I'm feeling frazzled or something annoys me, or, of course, this is what we all go through. And I'm humanizing not just myself, but others on this process. You think Elon Musk doesn't have a day where he's like scratching his head, just going, huh? Okay. The fact that he made, the SpaceX, right? Like, Kissy SpaceX, right? The SpaceX rockets, he said, make it pointier. Because in the movie The Director, you guys remember with Sacha Baron Cohen, right? Make it more pointy. I want it to become more pointy. It's more dangerous, more badass like that, right? He watched the movie just because it's funnier. He made it more pointy because he saw it in a movie. This is a grown-up man who's a kid, okay? Let's be honest. But anyway, enough about Musk. Let's get back to the I was trying to rhyme something with Musk, but fuck it. The multitasking thing is interesting because a lot of polyphasic cultures do it very well. There are monophasic cultures which don't multitask well, and there's polyphasic cultures which actually do. Okay, like somewhere like Israel, you can do a bunch of things at once. I get it. It's more so part of the culture. You get it? Like, you're listening to your headphones while you're smoking, while you're, walking your dog, and that's more so relevant to you, perhaps. But even with that, there's still a level of focus on one thing, and then the multitasking activities are like little extras, right? Like a main chick and a side chicks, right? Bad example, I get it. Okay, can I be politically correct? Okay, but it's like that. Okay, you have one main task that you're accomplishing, and then you have little mini tasks that amplify it or add like an extra addition of focus to it, like different anchors, that amplify this one particular task. I'll give you an example. If you're painting, for example, and you like listening to music as you paint, it adds more focus to your artwork and your flow. By all means, play some music, bro. You're not multitasking in that sense. You're adding amplification, and there's a difference. You want to make sure that everything is, strategic like this. You get what I mean? Music works for me really well. I'm an auditory learner. I'm clairaudience as well. I'm often stuck and uninspired, and then I ask myself, what is the tiniest little step that I can take right now closer towards that mission or objective? I don't call them goals, right? I hate that word. I hate planning goals. Fuck all that shit. That's too normy for me, man. Goals? What are you talking about? Okay. Goals, bro. Even in the flow state, I know in the flow state language, they use the term goals. And again, I have nothing wrong with that. But it's just become it's another trendy buzzword. You know what I mean? It's like people saying quantum and it doesn't mean shit, right? It's like, what the hell are you talking about even, bro? You get it? So to concentrate is to exclude something, not only to pay attention to something, okay? If there's some unrelated thought, idea, feeling, sensation, it's going to bring you into distraction mode. Okay, distraction, taking you out of the track that you truly intended. That's what distraction is. Traction, on the other hand, is creating momentum, right? You're creating more inertia that's pulling you, like, that energy that's pulling you towards that task rather than away from it. So let's say you're like, I'm going to tie my shoes. Then you start, doing stuff on your calculator. Bro, you told yourself you were going to tie your shoes, and now you're being, out of integrity with what you just said. You're gonna tie your shoes, but you just got easily distracted, bro. You got easily distracted, and now you're on your calculator doing sums. That's distraction. Okay. The track was the shoes, the focus. Then it went, oh, there's a calculator here, right? Autopilot, zombie mode, and now you're like, what? What am I doing on a calculator, right? Remember when you were younger and you used to like write boobs with numbers and stuff on calculators? Man, fun times, huh? Fun times. But yeah, creating a deep focus or deep work playlist, okay? Shout out Cal Newport, bro. Gotta mention deep focus, at least deep work at least once in a flow state video. Otherwise, I'm like not legit, Like I'm a focus coach that's not legit if I don't mention Cal Newport. Okay, so like to concentrate, remember, frequent distractions affect productivity. So let's say you get bing, 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 right? Like I've been getting that for the reels, right? The notifications for that viral reel of Benson, like, becoming a Super Saiyan or whatever, or Chibaki Tensei. So that has been super distracting to me. So I have to constantly go to notifications, turn it off for the day, or just turn it off for 8 hours. So I'm not getting buzzed by this like every single second this thing is ringing, right? Because it's blowing up online. And I understand that, if we don't listen, if we don't comprehend things as well, or, whether it's with your partner or your colleagues or your dogs, whatever it is, right? Like you end up misunderstanding, you end up in misinterpretation, you end up in random conflict that you never even intended, right? Also, overstimulation affects your memory, bro. So you're like, oh yeah, there was a beautiful memory once in third grade, but I forgot. What? You really want that to be your life? Like all the dope times that you've had in life, like epic times, you just completely off of the, huh, okay. Because I guess that's what it is, okay? So, our brains tend to ignore constant stimulation, as I said. So taking very small breaks by refocusing your attention, and you can put your attention elsewhere, right? Dramatically improving mental concentration after that. So, and by the way, I'm sharing this as a part of some client. I'm going to send this to certain clients too. So that's why I'm talking to some of the cameras here. Finding time to walk in the park or appreciating the plants or flowers in the garden, right, can boost your concentration. It can help you feel replenished. It can help you feel refreshed, okay? So this is it, man. When it comes down to focus, you really don't want to limit yourself in your capability, okay? Excuse me. You want to actually give yourself more reward. Give yourself a little, not if this is a bad habit to you. Never use anything that's a bad habit to you as a reward. It's just going to mess it up. It's just going to fuck up your progress, okay? Don't do that. Do it for little mini things. Like if you crave sugar really bad, get some Greek yogurt and some honey or something and just make up for that little sugar craving. Make that your reward, right? I know that people who are fasting, sometimes they get into this spiritual state, or they realize like where things are clunky or not going right, and where they need to rely on their own system, or they get lightheaded, or they get headaches, or like their whole body is unresponsive. It's like they have to adapt in that scenario, right? So sometimes fasting can create focus, but you have to do it in the right way. You got to do it knowing and asking someone who's well trained in it or has tried it before, right? Never go into something completely blind and then trying it out, right? You're gonna have bad side effects from that. And especially like if you do it a couple of times, the body's gonna cling onto the fat more, right? If you do it like in Bengali, you'd say ebro tebro, right? Like just randomly, like everywhere, like just chaotically, right? Instead of actually focused, determined, like, persevering and like just putting your mind back to the task. So I wanted to share with you this technique called abra, okay? Abracadabra, I will create as I speak, okay? Some of you know this. Comes from ancient Aramaic, okay? By the way, the language that Jesus smoked. He smoked a language. That's dope, right? Sweet GB Jews, okay? Or whatever. So yeah, ancient Aramaic, right? Jesus was that was Jesus's language, okay? Was Aramaic. So if you type in was the language that Jesus spoke onto Google, one is Aramaic. Aramaic is also going into the similarities of Islam, right? And that culture too. So notice that there's links everywhere. But anyway, let's go back to the abracadabra. Abra, okay? ABRA. This is very easy. This is only for my high-end clients that I actually share this kind of information. But you guys are my YouTube following, and I want to help you guys out. Give you all this. This is almost like a webinar, right? How long have we been doing this? I don't even know, man. Right? It's way beyond probably 33. So, but yeah. Anyway, let me speak around this. So A is acknowledge, B is breathe, R is release, and A is align. So you acknowledge what it is that distracted you. Breathe. Release, let it go. With the breath back to what you're focusing on. So you let the distracting thought go with the breath. Other thing you could do is keep a not to-do list, okay, on the side. As you're focusing and you have a distracting thought or something comes up that you need to write it down on the not to-do list. I need to call my friend at 4 p.m. That was a thought. Did I leave something in the microwave? Microwave, question mark, write it down. Okay, and this is as you were like a little scrap sheet next to you, right? That you can write down and quickly, like as the distractions come up, you just quickly write it down because at least it's getting expressed, right? It's not being repressed or suppressed. Your emotions and the feelings and the frustrations is being written down, and eventually I just throw away that scrap sheet. I don't really need it, but I need it in the moment in order to focus. Now there's other ways that you can create more focus. One technique which I was teaching one of my clients today, which is very, very powerful, okay? A, let's call you A, what was using this tech, and I was explaining it in this way, that's what is the quality that you would like when you're going into this examination? First of all, I don't like the word exam. Horrible word, okay? I'm just going to a learning simulation. I'm not going to get tested, bro. Test? What are they going to test me on, okay? My intelligence? That's not going to be tested through a piece of paper, bro. What are you talking? Get out of here, right? Forget about it, okay? So what is a quality that you would like to have that makes you that really good student, right? And don't think of like the nerdy, topper in class, or maybe they're like this, this shrivelly kind of like, like socially awkward dude, but like gets all the grades right or something. Like, don't try to emulate that, bro. What are you doing? Okay. You can emulate some kind of like fantasy or mythical character that has super focus. Let's say Jimmy Neutron, for example, right? Or something like this. In this kind of simulation or imagination that you're doing, creating this anchor for yourself, you ask yourself, what is the quality? What is the quality that I'm really looking for? Okay. directive strength, let's say, comes up for me. And that's a great word, by the way. We don't just strong for the sense of what, right? The strength has to be used somewhere, right? To lift a tire, to do something, to be physically, agile, to get by, right? There's got to, like, are you lifting just so you can be a power lifter, or are you lifting so you can also help your grandma with the groceries a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be you using your strength for other things than just looking good and flexing on camera, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So directive strength is what I believe in, right? It's a really empowering concept, by the way. So now let's take the directive strength and let's create a metaphor out of it. What gives you a symbol of directive strength? Let's say it's an arrow, right? Okay, arrow, like Arjun, right? Just an arrow, like whew, the archer imagery, okay? You take that archer imagery, or maybe you can just draw a little arrow with a little bow and make that your little symbol, okay? So you have it next to your notebook somewhere. You have it in your visual field somewhere that reminds you of the directive strength. You get it? But directive strength is kind of another way of saying, cooler way of saying focus, right? But or directive energy in a sense, right? So let's say that I have a giant like bow and arrow hanging from my, room somewhere, right? Not that I'm going to, but it's cool. Now maybe I have a Hunger Games poster or something, right? That is teaching my mind to focus on that concept. You see, it's anchoring it into my physical reality, and I'm seeing it, and I'm suggesting to my mind that is what I'm going to focus on, and what you focus on grows. Okay? So you've got to actually accumulate what strengthens the characteristic focus. So if a ninja is very focused, right, they're almost a pariah, right, ghost-like, and they're moving very swiftly and quickly. Now, if you use that same ninja level focus in what you're doing, okay, you might become very, very, like, yeah, you're taking good notes and stuff. Like, I see Asian kids do this really well, like, really take notes and highlight everything and, like, find a way to, like, hey, and if that's not your cup of tea, maybe you're a different kind of learner. You're more tactile. You like to learn by not just visually or audio visually or listening to an audiobook, right? Different people learn differently, man. You have to find a way to really use your learning strategy, your learning strength, or the way you learn in a correct manner. Okay, so if you're audio visual, you got to be watching videos of your craft outside of the scope of some project or subject, bro. That's what good students do. My mom was a good student. You can ask her, okay? This is what she used to do. She does not used to just read like just one chapter of the book that was assigned for class. She was reading outside of the syllabus and bringing in concepts from all walks of life. That's what makes you dangerously focused. That's what makes you a connoisseur of knowledge, right? You're just learning, and when I feel like I'm feeding my brain too much, I'll just go to a random chapter of a book, take one golden nugget, and apply it immediately. Okay, so maybe you can do the same. Let's say you're not feeling really good to study history that day. You can go to a chapter, open a random chapter in your history book, go to that datum, find something spectacular that inspires you in that moment. Maybe it doesn't, right? A lot of history books won't, but maybe that sentence leads you to another track, and then you find something else, right? It can also stack like this. So you go to, let's say, Caesar. I love Caesar, bro. You go, you learn about Caesar, you learn about Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, conquered. Okay. You have that mentality and you put it directly into practice. Okay. That's just one example, right? You don't need to dress up like Caesar. I actually want to dress up like Caesar, and I think I'm going to cut my hair like Caesar eventually after this gets a little bit longer. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I keep my hair long or short? I don't know. I've done everything with my hair so far. I haven't gone bald yet though, so I'm gonna do that with my poite. So that's my Bengali. There's like a Bengali, what do you say, ceremony, like a ritual ceremony for Brahmins, right? I never did it when I was younger, so I was thinking about it. But then you also get it when you're married. So, but I don't know if I'm gonna get married either, so I don't know. It is what it is, boy. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. Hit that like, subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell. Okay? This is the time where you hit it and you don't quit it, bro. You become a subscriber for life. Oh, Tao. Oh, God. Oh, Brahma. Oh, Krishna. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's get it. Upward spiral. Enjoy yourselves today. Okay, stay focused, stay sharp like a Ginsu. Let's get it.